Hidden Earth, Episode 11. When the Sun Stands Still. The Solstice Gate of Reorientation. Opening transmission. The Still Point of Light. Beloved Earthwalker, there comes a moment each year when the sun appears to pause. Not because its fire has dimmed, not because its journey has faltered, but because it has reached a point of perfect alignment. This is solstice, the still point, the hinge of the year, the axis upon which direction itself turns. In the language of the celestial archives, solstice is not an event. It is a threshold condition, a moment when motion becomes coherent enough to rest, and rest becomes potent enough to redirect motion. At solstice, the earth and sun enter a sacred agreement. Light stands still so that life may remember where it is going. This pause is subtle but unmistakable to those who listen. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the quality of light in your body. Not brightness, not warmth, but orientation. This is not a time of striving. This is not a time of effort. This is a time of alignment. Segment 1. The Solstice Axis. Ancient cultures understood solstice as the spine of the year. Temples were not built to worship the sun, but to mark alignment. Stones were raised not as monuments, but as instruments. Fires were lit not to summon power, but to mirror it. Solstice marks the moment when the planetary body recalibrates its trajectory. Gaia straightens her spine. This is not metaphorical. The tilt of the earth, the distribution of light, the behavior of magnetics, waters, animals, and plants all respond to this precise alignment. Your body is not separate from this system. At solstice, many feel a deep settling without explanation. A pause that feels necessary rather than imposed. A clarity that arrives without mental effort. This is the earth aligning through you. Your nervous system receives the signal. Your cells adjust their listening. Your internal compass quietly recalibrates. Nothing needs to be done. Alignment is already occurring. Segment 2. The fire that does not consume. The fire of solstice is unlike other fires. It is not the fire of destruction. It is not the fire of ambition. It is not the fire that rushes forward or burns away what cannot keep up. Solstice fire is the fire of presence. It stands. It illuminates. It reveals without demand. This is the fire held in the hearth, the fire in the heart of the sun, the fire that lives in your own solar center. Place a hand on your solar plexus now. Breathe. Feel warmth, not pressure. Brightness, not urgency. This fire does not push you into action. It clarifies what is already true. In divine law, light does not coerce. It discloses. What remains unclear at solstice is not meant to be forced. What becomes visible is meant to be trusted. Segment 3. Reorientation of the Soul Compass. At solstice, paths do not shatter, they shift. Some directions quietly lose their charge, some ambitions soften, some timelines dissolve without drama. In their place, something else becomes perceptible. You may notice old goals no longer pulling at your energy. New curiosities arising without urgency. A different relationship to time itself. This is not loss. This is realignment. Solstice does not ask you to move faster. It asks you to face true north. True north is not a destination. It is a direction of integrity. When you face it, movement becomes coherent again. Closing transmission. Standing in the turn. Beloved, you are not required to rush into the next season. You are allowed to stand here, between light and dark, between inhale and exhale, between who you were and who you are becoming. This is the sacred pause where choice becomes clear. When the sun stands still, so may you. And from this stillness, your next true step will reveal itself without force. Remain present, remain aligned. The path knows when you are ready to walk it. End of transmission. Preview of Episode 12, When the Ground Speaks. Beloved Earthwalker, as the sun completes its pause and the year quietly turns, the earth does not rush forward. She listens. In the days that follow solstice, guidance does not arrive as commands or plans. It arrives as subtle signals. A body responds, a repeated image, a moment of ease where tension once lived. In our next episode of Hidden Earth, we will explore how the earth communicates after reorientation, how to recognize when direction has truly shifted, how to discern between mental urgency and planetary guidance, how to know when the ground itself is responding to your steps. Episode 12 is titled When the Ground Speaks, Reading the Subtle Signs of the Turning. Until then, remain attentive, not for answers, but for resonance. The earth is already speaking. Preview complete.